What's good? So we have about 5, maybe 4 days left for the season 2 premiere of Purple Hyacinth on probably Monday 9 p.m. July 13th, as the official release for it is July 14th. So I decided to do a tier list. It is Thursday. I didn't do one last week, so I'll do one this week. But instead of Tower God, we'll be having some Purple Hyacinth stuff. So there's some characters here, as you can see. These aren't all the characters of season 1, since I'm only going with the named characters. So people that have been given their little name bubble or have their full name described in season 1, here they are. Now there's certain people in here that obviously should be on there, but I decided not to put, like the leader, because, well, technically we don't have the name for him. And I don't have, like, Lauren's parents either. Anyways, this is more of, honestly, this is more for me, so that I can give my ranking of these characters, since I haven't, like, fully read through the full of season 1 in a while, so this is just going off the top of my head. Of course, this will probably change, as I will be starting my reread today itself. And I just wanted to make this so once we finish season 2, I can have another video and see how the characters that I ranked here change as some of them die and as we get new characters. I try to organize this in as like alphabetical as possible, but it keeps resetting, and I actually forgot Lauren. I forgot to add Lauren, which is pretty bad because, you know, she is the main protagonist. But anyways, let's begin. So let's start with the 4th messenger of the presumably 7th apostle. Now, even though we don't get his face, we've seen him twice. We see both times we see him give orders for Kieran to execute for the leader. Since we don't know that much about him, other than some snarky comments about how he should be quick, I'm gonna give him D. We don't know too much about him. We know enough about him, and also there were 2 messengers, but I'm assuming that they're both the same person. We'll see as the story progresses if there's other messengers that we meet, because technically we haven't even met Apostle 7 yet, or the 7th apostle. So the next person on our list is Andrew Laws, who is a investigative detective for the 11th precinct, and it's presumable that he is under the same command or group as Detective March, where Detective March is the lead investigator and these are the other 2. So we have both Andrew Laws here, and we have, I believe her name is Grace Riverwood. So they both seem to be pretty analytical people, as you know, it's I mean, part of their job. But we only saw them in relation to actually the poison that Belladonna used on our boy, where is he? Harvey Wood. Actually, I can't find him. Right here, our freckled boy, Harvey Wood. Since we don't know too much about them, we just got them in basically 1 to 2 panels, and then they explain the poison and how deadly it is. I think we need a lot more from March and the entire detective investigative unit of the 11th precinct to get more and want more from him. Now we have Belladonna Davenport. I mean, she came in with such an entrance. I'm putting her all the way up on the A tier. I think she's pretty interesting, especially with the kind of flex that she uses with a golden, like, viper as her hilt, and that's the kind of poison she has that she uses for her kills. She seems to be highly trusted by the leader, since she's the one reigning in the 7th apostle, and she's trying to rack in more money before she has to kill everyone off. And she seems to have some kind of relationship with Kieran, probably that they knew each other in the past, whether that was before the Phantom Scythe or during the Phantom Scythe. So I'd love to see more of her, which I'm sure we will get. Blakesly was one of the last of the Loon victims, and sadly she's dead, so we're not going to really get, I want to put her in the need more, but we're not going to get much more from her. I didn't get too much from her. This was the Loon victim that we spent the least amount of time with. What I do find interesting is that the goons that she hired, the 4 bald goons, to me seems to be the slow inclinations of, and spoilers for anyone that doesn't watch Soph's streams. I don't generally watch them, but I think I saw somewhere on her Instagram that there was this like Chinatown reference one, so that doesn't really say much, but I feel like those goons were from there, so maybe they're the introduction, and we'll get more relevance maybe to the leader of those goons that clearly lost 4 of their squad to Loon. But Blakesly as a whole didn't really have that much of an impact that I wanted it to have, because we spent a lot more time with the other Loon victims. Now the butler, I'll put him at B. There's as much as I love the butler, and who goes with her, Lady, what's her name, Arthingham. They seem interesting enough to be more than just gag characters. I like the comedy between them, and we've seen them in some pivotal moments, and it was frankly Arthingham that notified William and Kim that there were potentially 2 people that were running around as Loon in, I think it was chapter 18, where we got introduced to these 2 characters, and that kind of got Lauren on her toes. And we see them with when Lauren was in the getup, the red dress, when she went to infiltrate and interrogate Anslow. So they seem to be coming at pretty pivotal moments, and I mean, I'm sure they'll come and do both comedic relief and add just a little bit of something to the plot, which I think is cool. Herman is interesting. He seems to be arrogant and brash, and he has this kind of rivalry with Tristan Sinclair, and it seems to be that our authors are using Herman as kind of misdirection, because I don't think Herman is part of the Phantom Scythe. I think he has other motives, and I don't know, I feel like he wouldn't need to side with the Phantom Scythe. To me, it seems like a more, not healthy, but some kind of competition between Tristan. And Tristan probably did something in their past to make him feel absolute, not really hatred, but annoyance towards him, and he's taking it out wherever he can, especially to Lauren. Now the king's right hand, what's his name? What is our king's right hand name? Dakan. We didn't really get too much from him, other than he was kind of just being there for the king. I think the king's name is Philip. Right here, this is the king. I hope to see more about the royal politics. Since the queen, we're over here, looks a little sus, but it seems that this right-hand man has pure intentions, and maybe the reason why our new king doesn't have a death penalty, but I'm not too sure, so I think we just need a little more. We only got like maybe 2-3 panels of the right-hand man over here. Herman, on the other hand, I don't know enough, and I feel like he is the one that's part of the Phantom Scythe because of his statement where he says that none of his investigative team is part of the Phantom Scythe, which is kind of telling. Either he's too trusting or he's obviously hiding something, so not sure which way that flows, but of course, someone who's a lead detective, especially as Lauren's superior, I feel like we'll get more of maybe Lauren's first days with Herman when she first joined the investigative squad of the 11th precinct. Dylan is a very, very rooted character for our beloved Lauren. We don't really get too much from him, and I feel like we need more of a backstory to really flesh out his character. Other than that, we don't really, from what I remember, I mean, of course, I need to reread the finale, because that's where we get most of Dylan, but I don't know. I don't think we have too much from him. I mean, we have enough. We know that he wanted to be a doctor, and we know that he's either missing, dead, or missing and then dead. So we'll have to see if he even plays a big role in season 2. maybe in part of Kieran's backstory is what I'm thinking, but again, I'm not too sure. Flemmings is really interesting. I like Flemmings a lot. I like how he called all the other loon victims basically incompetent and actually following the leader's dream, while Flemmings clearly has other motives. Now, he wasn't the one that directly, because they were investigating Flemmings, Lauren found out about Harvey as a traitor, and that really shifted her mindset about who she can and can't trust, or gets her more skeptical of who to trust. Because of someone like Harvey that she thought she could trust, she actually couldn't. But the interesting circus ticket, as well as the weird sand that was found on his coat, really draws me to say that Flemmings will have a bigger role to play, especially in season 2. Now, Anslow, on the other hand, Anslow didn't do much for me. The only thing that I got from Anslow, actually I'll put him down low. The only thing that I got from Anslow, and that Lauren got from Anslow, was the photograph of her parents' car where Tim Sake was driving. So other than that big reveal, which I still don't know why it was tied to our boy here, I can't really give him more priority up top. And then Harvey. Now, I still don't know. I really don't know why Harvey is a traitor. I've tried rereading to try to pick up if there was any foreshadowing hints, which I feel like there were, but I am not picking up on them. And I feel that because I haven't picked up on them, and that he is, obviously dead, and we might not get any more character development of Harvey, I wanted to know more about his circumstances and how he joined the Phantom Scythe. And I don't think we'll get that. Now, if we do, then obviously this will change, but right now, I feel like Harvey is wasted potential. Chow, we don't really get too much. This was Kevin Chow. He was Tim Sake's friend, and he worked in Chow's father's mines. And I feel like Chow and his father are pretty pivotal figures that led to the Annandale train tragedy. And I feel like we'll get more of a backstory on how this actual bombing occurred and who were the big players into getting this to work. So until then, he'll be on this bottom tier though. Now, of course, Kieran has to be S tier. He, along with Lauren, look, I'll put Lauren up here already, right? They both have easily had the most amount of character development, character growth, and really flushed out within the series, which is obvious since they are probably the only two protagonists that we'll get in this story. Kieran has, for me, the best panel, which was in 43, which was what I consider an impact panel, where he's in all black and the words monsters are radiating. That is a beautiful panel, and I love that. And Kieran has a lot of complexity. He's an artist, he's a murderer, but he doesn't kill unless it's the only option. So yeah, obviously we've learned a lot about him, but we can clearly learn a lot more. Now, Lauren, on the other hand, the only reason I put her up on S tier is because she has red hair matched with the S. No, I'm joking. Lauren embodies survivor's guilt, as she's been grappling for the past 10 years to try to save people that she thought she could. Her ability is amazing and really unique in the medium and how it is portrayed and how we try to live vicariously through Lauren because we see the lies that she sees. I think a really cool way that our author subverted that was with the picture and how we focused on Tim's Sake in the picture, but Lauren had prior knowledge that us as the audience didn't have, that the real issue with that picture for her was that was her parents' car. So again, I'd love to see more of Lauren as she continues to turn to the vigilante side and try to break apart the Phantom Scythe and see how that story progresses. I think it's Krist Schaefer. I want more from him. I need more from him, but I don't think... I think we don't know that much about him. So it's safe to assume that our boy is dead. And to give context, this was the guy in the prologue that planted a bomb at the theater that gets caught by Lauren. And this is the main way that we learn about Lauren's ability in the prologue. Other than that, he hasn't served too much of a role. I hope that there's some sort of prison break, because I don't think he's dead because he wasn't part of the loon victims, or that he gets released early, or he's on parole or something and we see him again, because I don't think we got enough of him. I think he would be a cool add-on. I don't really know how our authors will take his story, if there's a backstory on why he wanted to bomb things, or if he's just an idealist like the loon victims that believe in the leaders. But I kind of want more. Kim is amazing. She's very complex. I will be real. I think her humor can be a little over the top, but because we got a little bit of her backstory hinted at with the clock and with the training that she does at night, I feel like there's a lot more to Kim, and she'll be a really interesting force, especially that she has a hunch that Lauren is loon. So she'll be really interesting as she tries to either assist Lauren or rebel against Lauren as loon, and see how she plays with William and the entire cast, especially since obviously Kieran is part of the 11th precinct. How that dynamic's going to change. Lily, who's the secretary, we don't know enough about her. There's some theories saying that she's tied with Belladonna. I think that would be cool if that's true. But I mean, we only saw her in her intro panel, which is where this picture was taken from, and we saw her just tailing Herman. We don't really know enough about her. We don't know enough about the queen. She does seem pretty sus, but I feel like she's more of a third party. Might not be directly tied in with the Phantom Scythe. I mean, she could be tied with the Phantom Scythe, but she seems very against Philip's, the current king's, death penalty that he removed. So I don't know. I think she's going to be a pivotal, member. That will be some dynamics. I don't think we'll see too much. I don't know if we'll see much of her in season 2, other than maybe the ball that the dude is holding. But yeah, I don't like Lukas. I'm be real. I thought his opening lines, I think it was in chapter 6, were pretty cringe. I get the whole grunge aesthetic, and maybe not the right words, grunge, but I mean, he seems pretty pissed off. And he seems to be pro-killing and grumpy all the time. But again, we haven't gotten too much from him. And his initial appearance just kind of threw me off. So I'll put him down low. McTrevor was interesting because of how he plays with Lauren. And how almost evil that Lauren kind of plays her card against McTrevor to get him to give information on how she kind of uses his, quote unquote child. I mean, it's probably his kid, but he doesn't want to admit it. And Lauren uses the threat of killing him or hurting him to extort information. And I thought that was a really dark moment of Lauren that was only possible because McTrevor was unyielding to give information. Same reason, kind of the opposite reason why I don't like Lukas. Mr. Evans is kind of annoying, and he's pretty arrogant. I hope that we get more of his father's and his parents' company and how that potentially ties in with the Phantom Scythe, because Kieran was, staking out, or maybe just drinking coffee in that same coffee shop. Maybe he was scouting Evans for a potential hit by the leader. I'm not too sure, but for now, I hope we don't see him for a while. Mr. Rosenthal, we don't get too much from him. All we know is that he's a florist, That's about it. I hope we get some kind of backstory on why the florist is so important that he has to arrive to the train station early in the morning. And I would think that the royal family has their own, local florist, or in-house florist, not a local florist. So I don't know. The king is very interesting to me. I like that he removed the death penalty, and that's about it. I want to put him in the need more, but I feel like I want to place him higher than the queen, who I already put at tier C, so that's where I'll put him. Again, we need to know more about him and why his father was hated by the leader enough to cause some sort of, giant massacre to happen, and how Philip, maybe unknowingly or knowingly, is involved in that or has changed the policy of his ruling to try to reflect a newer light. I don't think we've barely got that, so a lot of potential for our boy, our King Philip. And he has a little kid that was unnamed that was up on the stands, so yes, he'll be tied with that. Both the first two victims, I think these aren't the victims of Loon, these are the two informants that got killed in chapter 1 by Kieran. This one is Rocca Grayson, and this is Robert de la Rocca. We don't know enough about them other than that they were working with the police to infiltrate the Phantom Scythe. I think their only real relevance is that the Phantom Scythe is deadly and has a lot of connections, and to show Kieran's masterful kills. Technically he gets caught by Lauren, but I think that's the only role they have in the story to kick off the action for season 1. Tim's sake I love. I can't put him in S tier, but I love the nuance, and I love the kind of annoying, like Evans is annoying, Anslow is kind of arrogant. Tim's sake kind of embodies both of those, but to a higher level, as he plays with Lauren on both accounts, both in the flashback and in the present, and I feel like knows about her ability in some way, shape, or form, and uses that to manipulate her. I like the scar that he has. I want to learn a lot more about him and why he's so driven to take down the establishment. Now we got Uncle Sinclair. He is almost as interesting as there's a lot of hints that he could be part of the Phantom Scythe. I don't know. I don't know. I felt the tension when he was having breakfast with Lauren, and I felt the suspicion that he had when he saw the picture of the Sinclairs, the parents' cars, and I want to say that suspicion is tied with him being a part of that plan, but I don't know. But I want to see more of him. I want to have more of those, maybe different interactions with him in public. And I like the fact that he lied to Lauren when they first met, or when the audience first met Lauren and Tristan, Uncle Sinclair, together after the riot almost happened. I think people forget how easy it is to lie and how often that happens, even among family members, and Tristan is a great example when he spouts that lie about saying that Lauren is right. And then last but not least, we have William. Now we have hints of a tragic backstory just like Kim, but I don't think it's as fleshed out as Kim's, or I feel that Kim's is a little more interesting. Williams is kind of tied with the shoplifter girl, again another non-named character, but has relevance to Williams' backstory about his mother and the kind of condition that his mother is in and the kind of money that he needs to make could be putting a strain on him, and how Lauren and Williams' interactions are kind of this wall that's placed. I think it's pretty cool. But I don't know, we need more from him. And I'm sure we'll get more, since I hope that both Kim and William get a little bit, I mean, I don't want their full backstories yet, but I hope they get a little bit more fleshed out in season 2. But yeah, that's all for the video. I'll probably have, I don't want to make any promises that I can't keep, but I'll have at least 1 or 2 more videos before season 2 starts, and I will probably be doing videos as I read, so I won't read all 5 chapters that'll be released as part of, the premiere plus the 4 fast pass. I'll read one, try to digest it as much as possible, put out a video, and then I'll read the next one. And of course, I'll put tags and spoilers on all my videos, so look out for them. There'll be a link for this tier list maker in the description below, so if you've made it this far and you click on the description, you can make your own tier list for these characters that are named in season 1. Thank you so much for watching. You can follow me on my social media by searching Inspirational, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.